when you go to choose a file, I'm going to give you a set of data, which you're going to have to make a copy of. So when you open up the data, it's taking a second to load. Here we go. When you open the data, this is what you're going to see. So this is the graph of the data. The beginning part down here is where I hadn't started pulling on it. Then as you see, I start pulling on the block. The force increases and it reaches a peak. And that peak is when the block starts to move. And then there's this whole space in here where the block is being pulled at a constant velocity. So the two things you need to find from each trial. Now, each trial in the data, it's labeled. Trial, 500 grams, trial 1. 500 grams, trial 2. That's your block plus the added mass, trial 1, 2, and 3. And then you do, then you add 500 more grams. So then it becomes 1,000 grams, trial 1, 2, and 3. 1,500 grams, trial 1, 2, and 3. So there's going to be 9 sets of data you're going to do. So the first thing you're going to do is come up to the very peak of that graph and click on it. That is then going to give you the peak static friction. Right? That's how much force you had to put on it to start the block to move. In this trial, it was 7.36 newtons. None of yours will be that high. I did a different one just to try some stuff. So that's the peak static friction. That goes in data table number 1, peak static friction. Then it tells you to highlight the data where it was traveling at a constant velocity. My cursor back over here. Where'd I go? Uh-oh. I think my mouse just died. So that's okay. So I'm going to click and highlight this data. So I'm going to select all of that data where block was being pulled at a constant velocity. I'm going to come down here to this graphing tools and click on graphing tools and view statistics. That's going to give me all the data about that I selected. I want the mean friction force. The 5.555 in this case is the average friction force while I was pulling it at a constant velocity. That's going to be the number that goes in data table number 2 under kinetic friction, that 5.55 value. And so that was a brief look at how you do the data. That's right.